This is called post-hut clarity, and it's supposed to be a play on a certain analogy where it's like, the fog has cleared. Yes. You're thinking a little more rationally, and you just can objectively look at it. This is not the case for one particular part of this yesterday, and it's why I came away depressed.
You're still foggy?
It's really hard to watch that back and not just be bummed every time you see DeMarvion Overshown on the field. Like, for every play, because he was playing really well in this game. And well,
let me make you even more depressed.
Go ahead.
Because RJ Choppy is here with a jolt of reality. This is business. This is forward thinking. This is about team building. What do the Dallas Cowboys have to do, RJ?
Well, are you talking about replacing Overshown in the draft?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
I'm talking about what you were talking about, what you said last night.
I said a lot of things.
Well,
not one that would have just been teed up.
Yeah, honestly, I wasn't paying attention to that.
I know.
Yeah. Cutthroat move. That was the setup.
I still don't know what you're talking about.
Replacing him in the draft.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
Well, I just asked that.
Freak.
So, you tear 3 ligaments, right?
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, it's a killer of an injury. You have at best 50-50 that he plays again?
Oh, that he plays again?
No. Plays at an above average level.
What was the comparison you were making yesterday?
Navarro Bowman. It's the same injury.
Did he play again?
He missed an entire next season. He came back. He was never quite the same.
And what happened with him?
Same thing. He tore all 3 ligaments in his knee. He also had, I think he had an extra one. He had a meniscus tear, but it's a very similar tear. And he came back and he was never quite the same. So I mean, it's something where it's like he made a Pro Bowl after, but a lot of people felt like it was just kind of that's Navarro Bowman, vote him into the Pro Bowl. But it's something where you can. It's not 50-50 that he's going to come back and play, or even that he's going to come back and play at an above average level. It's 50-50 that he's going to come back and be that guy we saw. That's probably true.
So, and I don't, you don't have to do it in the first round, but I think you got to do it in the day one or day two.
We should do it in the 4th round with all those.
Well, that's probably not going to happen either, right? But day 1 or day 2. So, I should say it's day 2. Make it 2nd or 3rd round
to replace him.
Because it's just the reality. If he's not going to play next year, which, I mean,
no one thinks he is.
No one thinks he is. And even if he did, I mean, he's not ready until midway. You still need somebody that year anyway. So, I mean, you can never have too many linebackers anyway. It's a good position to have. Even though it may not be like the most valuable position, it's not as valuable as an edge rusher or whatever, or a corner, you still need the position. So,
and even if you don't draft it, what you're basically trying to say is
you got to protect yourself.
Plan on not having him.
You got to act like
add to your team as if he's not there.
You have to act like you're never going to see him again,
which has not typically been the Cowboys' approach.
No,
the Cowboys' approach has typically been.
You mean Jalen Smith?
No, but the Cowboys' approach has typically been more to just say we got him coming back. Like they turn it optimistically.
Free agency.
Like we're gonna get even better. You kidding me? Like we're just gonna assume he's coming back. But Overshown,
By the way, does that thought make you sick, or you get it and understand and agree?
No, I understand. Like, I mean, if he's not going to play next year, you need somebody to take starter reps at linebacker. So, I mean, they're going to have to acquire somebody. And a linebacker is one of those positions where you're always kind of rotating guys out. God knows it's not going to be Damone Clark, who was inactive this week. Played 1 snap before that. I think he's played.
Wasn't that who Zimmer loved in Oxnard?
He does not love him anymore. And I don't think Damone Clark loves this team anymore, to be honest. I think it's been a tense few weeks here for Damone Clark. He wants to play, and he's not getting that opportunity. But Overshown is, look, there's still rawness to his game. And he played so many different spots at the University of Texas, and they're asking him to do more things now of, they're using him as an edge rusher at times. They're using him as a linebacker. He played in the secondary at Texas at times. In fact, I think he got to Texas as he had played safety in high school. And so he's all over the place. And so this is the first time he's really committed to this is your position and this is what you're learning. And that's one of the reasons they liked him, is because when he finally committed to linebacker at Texas, they saw, there's room here to grow and we can do more things with him. He can get even better. And So there's still moments where it's not as clean or whatever else, but there's nobody on that defense. Nobody. Micah, Eric Kendricks, DeMarcus Lawrence, nobody else. No one has better natural instincts than DeMarvion Overshown. It is how fast he sees it, processes it, and can go. It's so rare. And it was on display again against the Bengals. And I just realized maybe that's why I was depressed watching it back. I was watching more Big Cat stuff. But it was on display against the Bengals, and it sucks that it happened the way that it did, but he was really impressive in this game, doing a lot of different things in coverage that was really solid, which has been kind of hit or miss for him. But the way that he just can quickly see something and cover over other people's mistakes because of how quickly he sees it and can get there, they're going to miss it. And it was on display again against the Bengals. There is a silver lining of the DeMarvion Overshown injury. More snaps for Marist Liufau. Liufau's been, we haven't talked enough about him. I think
more face mask grab.
He was one of the ones who was like, if they don't see it, then if a tree falls in a forest. Okay. He's one of these guys who, when he got picked, there was a lot of that he wasn't supposed to go that high. Nobody, I read this draft guide said he was, in the 6th round or the 5th round or whatever else. He's one who they were really excited about the energy that he plays with and the different, kind of like Overshown, the different positions he had played at Notre Dame and done things. And so they felt like he's really high IQ. He knows everybody's responsibilities and he plays really aggressively. And a defense that was really shaken when Overshown went down, like across the board. And McCarthy talked about it. Everybody on the sideline, you like felt it. Liufau probably felt it the same way. They're close, him and Overshown. Liufau, though, went out there and played undistracted. Like, you saw him doing the things that Overshown does, seeing it quickly, reacting, firing through the gap, making the play, and the energy level that he plays with, when you get that out of linebackers, that has a tendency to be really contagious. And so his biggest thing is just he's got to see it a little quicker a lot of times. Sometimes he takes a little bit second longer to look at it and see it, and with that aggressiveness, that can hurt you sometimes if you're not totally sure what you're seeing and you're just going. But he was seeing it all really fast against Cincinnati and playing really well. This is really interesting if you look at this. There are 11 Cowboys players this year that have played at least 150 run snaps. So out of those 11, 3 of them, the defense gives up fewer yards per carry when they're on the field versus off it. So the defense as a whole plays better in run defense with just 3 of those 11 who have done that. And Liufau is by far the biggest difference when he's on and off the field. When he's on the field, they give up a full yard less per carry in the run game as when he's off of it. And so they have a tendency, Overshown, for instance, good as he is, they give up about a half yard more when Overshown's on the field than when he's off it. A lot of reasons because...
In the run game or in general?
Run game. A lot of reason because Liufau comes in for Overshown. So that's part of where that discrepancy comes from because Liufau does a good job there. But he played really well.
His overall PFF grade, would you like to guess?
From them, 55.
46.5. That is 152 out of 171 linebackers. The pass rush grade is 68. The run D grade is 57. The coverage grade is 38.
Perfect. All you needed to know. That means he's great. So, Tyler Smith was fantastic in this game. This was a clinic that he put on in run blocking, really across the board. You got Cooper Beebe before he got hurt. It was disappointing he got hurt. He was playing probably his best game of the season before he got hurt.
Concussion.
And he was Beebe, Hoffman, Steele, like all of them working together. I saw John Owning say this yesterday about Hoffman. When Hoffman's in there and that edge that he plays with, that is, again, we talk about contagiousness. That's contagious with them. They all play more aggressive, more violent, and it's shown up in the run game, I think, since Hoffman's got in.
Feels like the backup offensive linemen for the Cowboys this year have gotten more praise than I can ever remember.
Yeah. And it's
like we've talked about Adogo, we've talked about Hoffman, we've talked about Bass.
Mm-hmm.
And before, we're talking about 7, 8 sacks.
Awesome Richards.
Yeah.
People thought he played well. And that's something where it's probably a testament to why unit cohesion, line cohesion is so important, where it's like you can take 5 guys that maybe aren't your 5 most talented, but that's the best line that works together.
Go look at the pedigree of the early 90s line.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't like...
It wasn't a bunch of first-round picks.
No. They were, most of them, undrafted free agents or third-round pick or whatever else. But Tyler Smith specifically was fantastic clearing space for Rico Dowdle and was just really dominant in the run game. But, I mean, across the board, run blocking was great. Tyler Smith was awful, is my next point.
Excuse me?
Yeah, his pass protection was probably the worst I've seen it all season.
Really? Because when you were saying he was so great, I was like, I remember one clear play where he definitely got beat.
He got worked. I think it's the one where I think it was the first sack that was given up, where he just got right off the snap. Somebody just, I don't even remember who it was, but just swiped his hands away, got around him. This was as bad as he's been in pass protection. And I don't know, you don't normally see, a lot of times you'll see a guy who he's better in run blocking than he is in pass protection or, reversed or whatever else. You don't generally see games where somebody who's considered pretty good at both just has a massive discrepancy.
It was, I think it was 3rd and 6. Ferguson got flagged for a false start, and then Tyler got beat for the sack, and it turned into, I think, real 3rd and long.
Yeah, and so that was what he had consistent issues all night, where it was something where he just was having issues with his hands, is what it looked like. There were guys they were able to swipe him away, get around him. He struggled a lot there, but in the run game, dominant. Just on the other side with the pass protection, it wasn't very good. In fact, that probably contributed to some of their issues in the passing game more than just Cooper Rush being bad, which he was.
Post-Hunt clarity with Bobby's review of Monday Night Football here on the Fan.
And then last, and I think this came across on TV, even though he barely got into the stat sheet, Micah did dominate. Micah was absolutely wrecking their offensive line. It's just Burrow is... I tweeted one of the clips yesterday and tagged you guys in it. Burrow's ability to just move so subtly away from the pressure, and Micah was clearly frustrated a few different times of
because he was being held.
How am I not getting to him? Well, even when he broke weights, he just has these subtle movements and knows how to kind of navigate traffic to where Micah couldn't reach him, and he was getting frustrated. You could see it at the end of plays where he'd be just irritated. But there were a couple different times where Micah looked like, I can think of 3 off the top of my head, where Micah looked like he was going to get a sack. Burrow slide steps and delivers a strike, and Cincinnati gets a new set of downs. And so Micah did a really good job generating pressure.
2nd in the league in pressures this week.
Doing those sort of things and really contributing to making the defense, the pass rush more effective. It's just nobody was finishing in this game. So generating the pressure, you needed sacks. I think that's what Tommy said with us on... Was that Monday?
Monday.
Yeah, where he said it can't be enough to get pressures. You're going to have to sack guys. You've got to be able to finish these plays, because just pressuring him, he's going to extend plays and keep going.